Welcome back to the series of object-oriented programming. In the previous video, we have discussed about abstraction in Meetup. Now we move ahead to the next topic of our series, that is encapsulation. Encapsulation is the technique of hiding an object's internal state from the outside world and exposing only a controlled interface. It is a way to protect an object's data from misuse. We understand this definition in more simple terms. What does mean by hiding the internal state? The data inside an object is hidden from the outside world by making it private. This means that other parts of the program cannot directly access or modify the object's internal data. Let us try to understand this with a practical example. Let's create the bank account class, how the class is to be created. You can learn from our previous video about class and object. We define two properties owner and balance. Each property's state is private. Because we want, these properties should not be accessed from outside the class. It is private properties of employee. You can make any property private by adding private keyword before the class's property. Let's add one thing more. It is not limited to property. You can also make the method private, just adding private keyword before the function name. Now move to the other part of definition and try to understand, what is this? Controlled access. The object provides public methods like getters and setters to access or modify its private data. These methods define how the data can be interacted with, ensuring that it is used correctly and safely. Let's move to previous example and understand in practical way. We create two methods for each property, one for setting value and other for getting value. Set owner method is for adding bank account owner. We set a parameter to accept the string value and store it into private property name. Assign the parameter value to property. Like this, you can assign the value to private property. We need another method for getting private property and create getOwner method for getting the account owner's name. Return the name property. So, you can repeat the same process for each private property for setting and getting value. This process is called setter and getter methods. Encapsulation is often compared to a black box approach. Users can interact with an object through well-defined methods but don't need to know how these methods work internally. Imagine you own a safe. The safe's contents, money, documents are private, just like an object's data. To access the safe, you use a key or a code. This is like using a method to interact with the object's data. You can't directly open the safe without the key or code, just as you can't directly access private data in an object. In the previous example, we saw setter and getter methods. Now, we learn how to use them. Create an object instance of class. Set the values through setter's method. Set account owner's name through setOwner method. And set account owner's balance through setBalance method. We get the values through getter methods, which are getOwner and getBalance methods. Now let me define in detail how encapsulation works. Encapsulation in Java is implemented by defining private fields to restrict access to an object's data. Public getter and setter methods are provided to control access and modifications. Access modifiers are used to define the visibility of classes, methods, and variables. Let's see another practical example. In this example, we will use encapsulation to implement validation rules that prevent wrong inputs from being set. The bank account class encapsulates the balance field, which cannot be accessed or modified directly from outside the class. We create a constructor to set the initial balance and apply simple validation to check the input must be greater than 0. Now we create getter method to get the total balance. If you have a bank account, so you withdraw money from the bank from time to time when you need it. Well, here we will also need the withdraw method in bank account class. We will pass an amount parameter to this method whose value we will subtract from the total balance. Again, some validation will be applied here, that the withdrawal amount must be greater than 0 and less than the total balance. If the validation is passed, the withdrawal amount will be deducted from the total balance. Otherwise, an error message will be printed. In the last, we need one more method to deposit the amount. Just like before, we will apply some simple validation and add the deposited amount to the total balance. Now let's see, how can we use bank account class? We need to create object instance to use bank account class. set initial balance as a parameter. This constructor initializes the bank account with the specified starting balance. Use deposit method to add the balance. If we want to display the balance, we will use the getBalance method. Likewise, we will use the withdraw method if we need to withdraw money from the account. Now we want to check how much balance is left after withdrawal. By the way, we will use getBalance method if we withdraw money that is more than the balance. So at that time an error message will appear. Your balance is low. In this example, we have tried to describe encapsulation in detail. In the last, we see what are the benefits of encapsulation, or we should it in out code. By restricting access to data, encapsulation helps protect the object's internal state from unintended changes, preserving its integrity. Encapsulation leads to modular code, where internal implementations can change without affecting the code that uses the class, making maintenance easier and more manageable. Encapsulation allows you to control how the data in an object is accessed or modified, making it possible to add validation checks or change how data is stored without affecting other parts of the code. It prevents external objects from being able to access and modify critical data, which can prevent bugs and unauthorized data access. It was all about encapsulation in object-oriented programming. Thanks for watching. See you in next interesting video. Goodbye.